Hey everyone, I wanted to go over a couple recent developments for HomesNOW. The good news is that we've continued to make traction with the county. The interim ordinance has been modified to allow for 1 year for tiny homes rather than 180 days with extensions, and 180 days for tents rather than 90 days with extensions. HomesNOW is also looking at 2 or 3 pieces of land which could potentially work for a first site for a pilot project. In my last update, I showed pictures of a site that looked really good on Northwest Avenue, just outside the city limits of Bellingham. But since it's about a mile or 2 from the soccer fields, I guess the soccer moms are up in arms and totally against it. But another site at Marine Drive Park was proposed. We'll keep working at it. On another subject, we had a former volunteer, Amy Couglin, who helped us with the garden of food that we grew outside our office on Dupont Street, helped to grow the plants that are there. She did a good job on that. She also volunteered at our homeless summits. However, we ran into a dispute with her over a few things. The first issue was when Jim was wanting to get the shower truck painted. He wanted it painted soon, like within a week or 2. Amy C. suggested she had somebody who could paint it, but it would take a month or 2. Jim didn't want to wait and went with his first choice. Amy then left the organization and stopped volunteering for a few weeks because she was upset about this. When she came back a few weeks later, we welcomed her with open arms. Later, another dispute popped up in which Amy said that she would no longer work with us unless we got rid of one of our other volunteers, JC. We told Amy that we're not going to get rid of any of our volunteers. So she left again, and now she's been showing up at every council meeting telling the council members that she's deeply concerned about how HomesNOW is run and that she questions whether our organization is following the law. Here are some of her statements from the last council meeting, and I just want to go through them each one by one to alleviate any concerns that anyone who's hearing her might think. Here we go.
Good evening. My name is Amy Couglin, spelled Coughlin. I'm a member of a citizen of Bellingham. I would like to reiterate some of my concerns that I brought up earlier today. And I would like to thank all of you for your due diligence on combating homelessness in our county. Considering the extreme situations surrounding homelessness, it is imperative that any organization providing emergency services have safety measures in place to protect the clients, public, staff, and volunteers. I would like to know what oversights will be implemented to assure that such safeguards are in place. And are there any officially required standards for the organizations that will provide these emergency encampment services? Examples would include volunteer orientation, training, applications and background checks for staff, code of conduct for all staff and board members, grievance policy and procedures, mission statement and board of directors clearly listed and available on the website, conflict resolution, crisis de-escalation, accountability and transparency regarding insurance and financials, zero tolerance for harassment, bullying, and inappropriate sexualized comments and behavior, as well as strict adherence to all applicable laws, regulations, and ordinances. Thank you for your time.
So I just wanted to go through each one of these points to address them honestly and frankly. In terms of safety measures in place for events and conflict resolution and crisis de-escalation, in terms of safety measures, we don't have security or police or anything like that for our own events that we do, once a month for the homeless summits and the shower truck. It hasn't been necessary because every event has been pretty safe and welcoming, with a few minor exceptions that happen 1 or 2 times. There was one summit where one homeless person started yelling loudly because their sleeping bag was stolen. And Amy C., the one in the video, was the one who happened to be there. She was not able to de-escalate the situation, and so she brought me over to the person to try and calm them down. The homeless man's sleeping bag was stolen. So I de-escalated the situation by going to the store and getting him a sleeping bag. Amy asked how I de-escalated the situation and thought that at that point she needed de-escalation training. I basically said, I don't think de-escalation training is necessary, but just try to think of something you can do that would make the situation better or make it turn out happy for everyone involved as much as possible within reason. And that will de-escalate it. Maybe that wasn't the best advice. I now look at it now and I think maybe she could use some de-escalation training. And maybe we'll add that in, but I just figured it wouldn't be that hard to just help people out, and that's what makes them happy. I don't know, I've seen it every time, so I don't know. Code of conduct. We do have a code of conduct for any potential tent encampment or tiny home community on our website, and it's under About and Code of Conduct Camp Rules. Now, our Code of Conduct is the same as if we were, managing a tent encampment. So, yeah, we don't actually do background checks on our volunteers, but if we had to, we would. But we haven't had to yet. We've never had anyone that's a volunteer that turned out to be shady. And had like a criminal record. Jim has the biggest criminal record out of all of us. That's not necessarily the most important factor unless someone is going to be in danger from that history. In fact, like if you look at it too, like with jobs and stuff, if you've been convicted of a crime, then there's pretty much no chance you can get a job because you have to fill out that form that says, have you been convicted of a crime? And almost no employer will hire you if you do that. So, part of what we're trying to do is we want people who maybe are trying to reform themselves or whatever to have a chance. And yeah, there's lots of people that have had situations in the past and they change, so we just want to be open to that and of course try to keep everybody safe. The board of directors clearly on the website. Yes, the board of directors is clearly on the website under About and Board of Directors. Accountability and transparency regarding insurance and financials. We are accountable and transparent with our insurance and financials. For instance, if you can find a copy of the insurance policy attached to our truck, which wasn't easy to get, by the way. Nobody wanted to insure us, but we finally found one, Progressive Insurance. It is on our website under About and Shower Truck. You can see a PDF of our insurance, official insurance documentation. Also, before people get into the shower, we make them sign a waiver to avoid getting sued if somebody slips in the shower. Nobody would give us general liability insurance for slipping in a shower truck. That was the part that was causing so much issue. So we got just the truck insured, and then we make people sign a waiver. You will not sue us if you take a shower in our shower truck. As for the accounting, on our website under financials, you can see a distribution of funds by year, and we've only been around for 1 year. And you can download our bank statements and comb through those if you like. We have nothing to hide. As for the comments about harassment, bullying, and inappropriate sexualized comments, this refers to a comment that one of our other volunteers made to Amy, where Jim asked that volunteer to reach out to Amy, and she said, "Hey girl," but Amy did not identify as a girl and was offended. Then the situation escalated from there in both directions. We said we weren't going to get rid of one of our volunteers, so Amy left. Now the other volunteer has left as well because the situation is too stressful for her, having to deal with, publicly getting blasted and stuff, because it's been taking a toll on her health. Strict adherence to any applicable laws and ordinances. We have followed every law as well as we know. Maybe there's laws we don't know about, but if you see that we're violating any law, please tell us what that law is so we can change and not be violating any law. I don't think we violated any laws though. and we have followed every law as far as we know, and working with local government officials to craft and change laws that make sense. It is an ongoing process that never stops, and it feels way too slow for us, but we're still working on it. If somebody wants to say that we're violating some kind of law, they should be specific, so we can address it quickly and efficiently. Also, another piece of news that I don't really like to hear, but effective August 31st, 2018, Jim is resigning as president of HomesNOW. He wants to focus only on the housing part and not on any of the other parts of managing a nonprofit. I'm going to step in where I can to fill in any gaps. We're going to keep the monthly homeless summits going. We're going to keep the shower truck going if we can find enough volunteers to manage that. I gotta say, I think Jim's more of a visionary than I am, but I'm going to do the best I can. And if someone else wants to jump in too, I welcome that. I'm more of a consensus team of 10 people guy rather than like, yeah, I'm the benevolent dictator, guy. Anyway, suffice it to say, I think it's been a pretty crappy week, but we'll get through it. It'll be fine. We just have to step back and plan our next strategy to be successful. Thank you all, supporters. This isn't about any one volunteer or any one crucial member of HomesNOW. It's about all of you. So the more of us that there are, the more that we can do, and the more people who get involved, the more things like this will happen. There will be another shitstorm for a different reason, and you gotta. It's more about being able to take the punches and roll with them than stop as soon as one punch happens. So that's how I see it, but. And I can understand why it would stress people out. Most people don't want to deal with this. Everyone's working for free. I've got all kinds of stuff going on, so now I'm dealing with this, but it's okay. No biggie. People often forget that the United States has a class-based caste system. So if you are wealthy, people fawn all over you and call you successful, like Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. But if you're homeless or poor, it's seen as a character flaw or as some kind of moral failing, which leads to prejudice and prejudgment of people before even getting to know them. This is what leads to stereotypes and many people being against helping homeless people simply on the basis that they are homeless. There are many other countries where homelessness is not as big of a problem as it is here. Basically, it comes down to whether you value people or not and whether you're trying to make money on them or not. Just a closing statement. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I just wanted to address this because I felt like it was important. If somebody's, maybe we should just keep it quiet, but if somebody's accusing us of breaking the law and that we haven't done things that we have, then I feel like it's okay to correct the record. So when you start getting into the personal comments and calling people names and stuff, that is where it's not good. But if somebody says something about your organization that's false, I figured we had to address it. So that's what I'm doing here, and just FYI. Take it easy. Have a blast.